you guys doing? I'm Martin from Gardens for Life. In this questions and answers session and live session, we are going to be talking about all things garden related, gardening, no-day gardening, forest gardening, homesteading, chicken keeping, and anything in relation to that. And this is session number 27. And you can see in the background here the reason why I wasn't on last week, because we were renovating the house and we have a new wardrobe. Actually, two right beside one another. So we'll just hang on in there for a few people to join, and then we'll do our weekly plant quiz, which we're starting today. And I'm going to be asking you what kind of plants I'm showing you. And then I'm going to give you the flower of the week as well. So again, if you want to ask me questions about no-day gardening, you can, or anything to do with plants or growing food, growing fruits, especially berries, and in cold temperate climates. And you can also ask about anything related to chickens. Keeping chickens is something that we've been doing for a very long time, probably about 12 or 13 years now. And it's definitely something we will never give up, because it's well worth having the chickens for egg production, and they are really easy to keep. For those of you wondering, or for those of you on the fence about keeping them, they are really easy to keep. I only spend about 2 times 5 minutes a day, really, in total, minding them or taking care of them. And they're living a great life, much better than those in the factory. So this week there's been a lot of stuff happening. So I just came back from the garden now, and I've been actually watering. It's been the warmest day for the last 6 weeks, probably. It's been really warm here in Ireland today, like 23 degrees, and everything has gone dry. It's even container grown plants, like plants that I keep in 2-liter pots, have gone completely dry. But our seedlings, the best time to water them is actually in the evening time. So that way the water doesn't evaporate, or a lot of it doesn't evaporate. If you're watering in the morning, that's okay too. But in the middle of the day, there's really no point, because you're probably going to lose about half of that water just due to evaporation. So you might as well be more efficient about it and actually just get yourself, or just water your plants in the evening time, just before it gets dark. And that way they have all night to soak in. So that's what I've done, especially with all the cuttings that are actually in pots that are rooting, and plants that I started in from seed as well. Now, let me have a look here. So I had a few questions here that people sent me. So there's one question in particular. Let me see here now. So there was a question here about raspberry leaves, and that they're gone yellow. And I've been asked whether they should pick them off or whatever. I wouldn't bother. I'd just leave the plant alone. Any kind of plants at all that discard the leaves, if the leaves have either become diseased or if they've just been recycled, as in they're being recycled. When they go yellow, that's okay. Usually that means, especially if they're older leaves near the bottom of the plant, whether it's a kale plant, a rhubarb plant, or even a currant, it doesn't really matter. They're all the same in that regard. Just leave them alone, and they'll just discard those leaves as they choose, and they'll pick and they'll suck the last bit of energy out of them as well before they discard them. Of course, nature doesn't waste anything, and usually we just leave all of the bottom leaves alone, and we let them dry out. We're not too worried about it, and I think that's a really good way to do it. So let me see here. I had another question as well about growing fodder trees as well, and which trees actually grow the fastest. So I actually brought some cuttings here. So who here can tell me what this is? Probably an easy one for you. That's the wood, and you can see here it does produce flowers and berries. Do you know what this is? Let me know in the chat. So this is actually one of the fastest growing plants that you can use to make a hedge, and it's actually beneficial for the insects as well. See here. Yes, it is the elder indeed. So we found this to actually grow much more densely than the willow, which is this one here. So this is actually a hybrid willow, and that's just the very tip of a 15-foot long piece, or like a stem. Basically, you can see how the leaves there, like the horses absolutely love this, and the rabbits as well. So I'm not sure about sheep. I think they'll eat it also. Not sure about cows as well, but it is meant to be a really good fodder tree. And look at how many leaves it produces. And this is towards the end of the growing season. It definitely is the fastest hedge you can grow. But if you mix these two, you get a much denser hedge, because I found the elder actually, it just grows more stems as well, and it just it has much more dense foliage when it's on the tree. So another one that we grow also is another hybrid. I'm dropping some of the flowers here that I'm going to show you. So this is actually the hybrid poplar, and again, that's only the tip of a very long piece of wood, of a very long stem. But you can see the leaves, they do get quite big. And again, this is a really super fast growing plant. It actually, it grows just as fast as the willow. And I'm not sure whether it's suitable for fodder, but I've been asked, how do you create a hedge, or how do you actually create a shelter belt? And well, these trees here I would grow. They're all bushy trees. You can actually just cut them back and use the wood for cuttings again in the consecutive winters. Every winter, at least in the first 2 winters, I would cut them back and just keep a bit of the growth at the bottom, maybe even a foot or two, or a half a meter. And the poplar is actually quite sticky. I'm getting the resin here now. So all of these trees work from cuttings, and you can keep multiplying them and keep taking it up your hedge. So you just need a few to begin with, and you can definitely create a multifunctional hedge, as in it can produce wood, it can produce fodder, it can produce kindling, but also it can produce medicine and food, such as, the elderberries. These aren't ready yet. I just wanted to show you an example here. The black one here is ready. See it here? So the elderberry syrup is actually really nice, and you can add a bit of sugar too to make it a bit easier, or a bit nicer to drink. And you can actually make lemonade out of it too, just like a cordial. And believe it or not, there is actually such thing as a healthy cordial as well. So elderberries is excellent. We went foraging with a man that was about 80 years old, and he was fitter than I am now. I'm 40. So he's twice the age of me, and he's yet fitter. And he was bringing us out for a forage walk at an event we went to in Northern Ireland a few years ago. And that was really interesting, because he says every winter during flu season anyway, this was 15 years ago, so well before all of the owl coof. I won't mention the name, because of course, you know yourself, YouTube doesn't like people talking about it. I'm not sure why exactly. Well, we all know why. So this fella that did the foraging walk actually takes a little shot glass of elderberry syrup or even half a shot glass every morning during flu season, and that seems to really work for him, and it protects him. But the elder flowers are great too for making wine or cordials as well. And if you go with the our European elder, the berries seem to be better quality than the American elder. But the European elder produces flowers in early summer, and then it produces fruits in September, which is right around now. This is mid-September now. And the American elder produces a little bit of fruit, very few berries actually, but mostly flowers, and they're really nice flowers as well, with a little bit of a vanilla scent. And they produce them from midsummer to October, so you have a longer harvest window. And then you don't have to be in a mad hurry to pick all the elderflowers. Usually I miss them anyway. When they come out, they're only out for 2 or 3 weeks, this part of the country anyway. So let me see here now. So actually, I'll reveal the flower of the week to you in a minute. Does anyone here know what it is? Anyone in the live chat? It's an easy enough one if you've seen it before. It's actually a wildflower, and it has multiple uses. It originally came from Greece, actually, and it was also known as Olympic, and then the name of it. Do you know what it is? It also produces leaves as well, and the leaves are tremendously, yes, it is. It's great mullen. And this is only a small piece of a flowering stalk, and don't worry, we've got plenty more. we have probably about 30 or 40 of these grown in the garden and flowering, and they have multiple flowering stalks as well. So the flowers, actually, you can pick them and dry them and put them into an oil. You could do it fresh too, but the oil is actually great for ear infections as well, same as garlic oil. And if you combine the two, you get multiple times the effect. So it's usually exponential with herbs once you're combining things. And I want to show you I actually brought a little, just the flower itself. You can see how it's a bit bigger than the European Elder. This is the Olympic mullen. So you can see it is quite a bit bigger than these flowers here. The Olympic mullen is originally from Greece, actually. It's also known as Greek mullen, and it has a longer flowering period, and it actually produces bigger flowers. So apparently they're easier to harvest. So people that grow herbs and herbal medicines actually prefer to grow the Olympic mullen. But I found the Great mullen to be more reliable in the Irish climate anyway. So that's something for you. Just really important plant to have. That's why we always send out seeds with every order, just free of charge, just to get people growing all these useful wildflowers. So who here knows what plant that is? It's not chamomile. Chamomile is different. I didn't pick up chamomile today. I was just in the garden watering, as I was saying earlier, for those of you who just joined. And best time to water is at night, just because the water has time to seep into the ground and it doesn't get evaporated. But I was just picking up a few bits from the garden that are still being productive at the moment. So the reason why I'm actually showing you all these plants is actually because I want to encourage you to pick the produce in your garden, as in even the flowers are also very useful too, because you could actually dry these and then you keep them for the winter. So it's not daisy, no, it looks very similar. It is the feverfew. So it actually has a really nice scent. These ones are actually finishing now, so they're going to produce seeds now. It is quite a weedy plant in the garden. It does produce a lot of seeds, but it is tremendously useful as well, and the leaves too. So it actually could be used for all kinds of different herbal remedies. You best check a book. We would recommend the DK Encyclopedia of Herbal Medicine. It's very good. Now, let me see here. What else have we got? Have you ever seen this one before? And if you don't know what it is, don't worry, I'll tell you in a minute. Does anyone here know what it is? I'll tell you now, it's not amaranth. And it's not any kind of ancient grain. It does produce these seed heads as well. They are edible, but actually the main part that would be eaten is the leaves, especially the tips before it produces the seed. They could still be eaten now though, and they're really nice when you cut them up and you saute them in the frying pan with a bit of butter for just less than a minute, and then you add a bit of cheese at the end. And it's purple tree spinach, this one here, and unfortunately it's not perennial. It does die back in the winter completely, and it doesn't come back next year, so you have to grow it from seed again. Hello Bianca, how are you doing? Thanks for joining. Do you like the angle, Bianca? I had to turn the computer desk around. This is still my temporary office at the moment. I'm sure some of you guys watching will know what I'm talking about, because I know I was talking to some of you guys about business as well, and I've actually had a few people visit as well over the last couple of years that want to get out of the old 9-to-5 thing and start their own business on the side, and they were asking for valid strategies on how to do it. Like, I definitely wouldn't do it jumping straight into it. You want to do it a little bit at a time, like you want to build it up on the side. But if you guys have any questions about business at all, please let me know. Hello Vanessa, thanks for joining. Hope you guys are doing very well over in Strokestown. Hope you don't mind me revealing your general location. But Strokestown is a lovely place to live, especially Strokestown House with its pineapple house. If you haven't visited that, or if you're ever in this part of the country, it would be well worth a visit, all the walled gardens there. So Strokestown House, actually. We have a video of it on our YouTube channel, if you're interested. And yeah, just type Strokestown House into the YouTube channel, or walled garden, for that matter. So yeah, no, the purple tree spinach, actually my favorite vegetable for breakfasts now, although I normally don't bother with much vegetables in the mornings. Usually it's between pork and eggs. So can you tell me what this is? Does anyone know? This is a really important plant too. And you can still start this from seed. And again, the reason why I'm showing you guys all these plants is simply because they're still out there. They're really productive. And you can still start a lot of these from seed just about now. If you start them now, you'll still get seedlings and then they'll grow on next year. Even this one, do you know what it is? Anyone? It's not cabbage. It's definitely an allium. Sorry, it's definitely a brassica. It is red Russian kale. And it's actually my favorite for flavor. It's not too spicy and it's very mild. It's not too bitter or not too spicy. Hello, Kevin. How are you doing? Thanks for joining. So the flower heads are edible too. They taste like broccoli. And at least that's our 6-year-old boy's interpretation of the flavor. He likes to go around and eating them. And I said to them, Jays, make sure there's no insects in them first. And the leaves too, they're actually really nice. So red Russian kale is well worth it because it actually grows at really low temperatures. It grows at temperatures above 4 degrees Celsius, and it'll actually germinate. The seeds will germinate at temperatures of 12 degrees or more. So yeah, Cayman, if you're still here, you can probably grow this where you are in the south of the country, probably all year, probably even during the winter it'll actually grow. Here where we are, it does take a break during the colder time like December and January, but in general, even when it's going to seed in, it's a biennial, so it's not actually perennial. This is not a perennial variety, the red Russian kale, but it does go to seed in the second year, as it should. That's what it does. Same as broccoli, and it still produces a lot of fresh leaves though before it goes to seed or before it goes to flower in spring. So you get a couple of flushes. You get this year's leaves. They stay pretty good for the winter, at least until probably the end of December, and so you'll have fresh greens in the garden up to Christmas pretty much. And if you grow enough of it, you'll have some in January as well. And after that, you probably get fresh growth as well. So can anyone here tell me what this is? Again, while we're just doing this little plant quiz, and I just show you a few things that are growing out there in the garden, I just grabbed a few bits. Please do feel free to ask me other questions about no-dig gardening and forest gardening, anything about plants or business or how to start a business, or even about keeping chickens for egg production as well. We do that. We also use chainsaws. We do a lot of woodworking as well, and a lot of we do all of our own homesteading, building up the whole place. So we do have a homesteading channel actually, and we are also live over there in case you're watching this on the Gardens for Life channel. So if you don't know, this is oregano. Again, the leaves are still good to eat, but the flowers could be eaten too, but they're probably not quite as nice as the leaves, in my opinion. But you can see it actually is a multifunction plant or herb because it actually attracts beneficial insects a lot. And this plant here was 3 years old and it produces loads of these stems full of flowers, and they're quite pretty. They're not quite upright enough to use in a bouquet. This one is not too bad, but definitely a plant worth having. And we haven't had to actually we haven't had to dry any of our herbs. We just have enough of them out there for 11 months of the year anyway. So let me see here. What else have we got? We have 2 more or 3 more. 2 more. What's this one? Do you know what that is? The leaves are really soft, so I'll describe it. It's just mucilage it has in the leaves. And these leaves are finished now, so this plant is actually just flowering and it's just finishing now. And the leaves are really good for the insects as well. And you could also use the leaves to make a tea for a rough throat as well. Very good, oregano. Yeah, it is oregano. The last one, this is marshmallow. Marshmallow is a tremendously useful plant. You could make marshmallows out of the roots of the plant, but you're probably better off to keep the plant and use the leaves instead as a crop. And yes, Vanessa, it is. It's the marshmallow though. It's the only mallow that I found to be reliable over a long period of time here in Ireland, because all the rest of the mallows like the wood mallow and the zebra mallow, they're not very reliable. I think they grow for 3 or 4 years basically, and then they're done. The oregano, what variety of oregano it is? It is well, it's definitely Mediterranean anyway. I'm sorry, I don't know what variety. I think it's just the general one, the officinalis. No, last one. What plant is this? I've just heard that our son Jacob is also watching. Yes, he should be in bed. Look at this. And the bees love it, and the leaves are tremendously useful too. It smells like cucumber when you rub it, and you can also make a poultice or a cream out of it. And you can put it on a broken bone, not on an open wound, because it'll actually heal it too quickly, and the body may not be able to clean the wound properly before it heals it. But the broken bone or sprain, actually, it'll help with a lot, because there's a chemical in it that actually encourages cell division. So it's called bone knit. That's one of the common names, but it's also known as comfrey, or knit bone in America, they call it. It looks a bit like birch, but it's not. But the bees absolutely love it. It must produce a lot of nectar for them. And you're not going to believe this. Ta-da! We have our first corn this year. Look at that. I believe it's ripe. I'm going to do the big revealing. Let's see if there's any kernels in it. Our corn really suffered this year. I mean, everyone's gardens were like 6 weeks behind in UK and Ireland. I also heard similar effects of the weather in the US as well, where the gardens are at least 4 weeks behind. So the corn didn't grow very well this year. Yeah. Look at that. It's not ripe. It'll still be nice though. I know somebody who would like to eat that anyway. We'll keep that for Jacob. For those of you who don't know, he does show up in our videos every once in a while. So we'll do a giveaway for a €50 voucher. And if you guys are not in Ireland, or if you're not in Europe, we can just give you €50 off the No Dig online course as well. So we have that. We have a virtual product for you guys that want to enter, that are not in Europe within our postal distance. So you can, for those of you who are in Ireland or in Europe, you can purchase plants off our website as well. Let me see here. Here's our website. For those of you listening to the audio only, it's gardensforlife.ie/shop. And we also have a an actual seed saving workshop coming up this Sunday. For those of you not too far from us coming, this would be a good opportunity, because I'm probably only going to run one of these this fall. And you can take a look at our events page, gardensforlife.ie/events, if you want to book, or if you want to have a look at the video as well. And it's on Sunday, but there's also 3 spots left for the walk as well. It's a free guided tour of our garden, one of the gardens. And yeah, if you're welcome to either attend the garden tour for free or the seed saving workshop. It's €30 per person, or 49 for 2. So let me see here. Bianca's asking, any tree cuttings for sale? They are available on the website, but they're not shipping out yet. So they're the leaves, especially, I actually had them earlier here. We have elderberry cuttings as well, but mostly the kind of cuttings most people are looking for every year is actually the willow and the poplar. So this is the hybrid poplar, this is the willow. And when the leaves all come off, well, then the plant has gone dormant. The trees will have gone to sleep, and they're hybrid, or they're hibernating for the winter. And that's the best time of the year to do the cuttings, of course. We don't want to waste all that energy that's in the leaves by stripping the leaves and shipping them early. And it wouldn't really do you any good by planting them now. But they are available, and every year we've been selling out of them as well for the last 5 years. So get your willow cuttings and reserve them on the website. You can buy them now, and you even get a little discount as well. So willow cuttings are probably the most famous of them all, and most people like them because they're so versatile and you can use them for a lot of stuff, but also because they grow in very wet conditions as well. So alder also grows in wet condition as well, and we want to grow some of those as well. And the lime tree we're going to start growing as well. That was a lot of as wells. So yeah, if you guys are, let me see here. I'm just looking over here, checking for the comments and questions. How to make a bonsai? I actually don't know. I think you take a tree and you grow it for a very long time in a very small pot, and you keep trimming it back, and that way it'll just stay small. That's the key, I'd say, to restrict the roots of a plant, of a tree like that. And you'll be able to have a tiny tree that looks like a big old tree in a small little pot on a windowsill. We don't do that because our windowsills here in the house actually are full of other types of plants, such as aloe vera, which you probably all know it can be used for burns as well. If you have a burn or any kind of itchy skin from an insect bite or whatever, put some aloe vera on it. It helps a lot. It also, by the way, for those of you growing Madeira vine, you can also put the Madeira vine tuber or leaf, just basically break it up and put it on the, it has the same effect as the aloe vera on burns or insect bites. So if you happen to be out in the garden and you have no aloe vera, the Madeira vine will do it too. Now let me see here. I'm always checking over here because that's where the comments all are. Now let me see, what else did I have? Oh yeah, so there's one thing I want to show you. Let me just bring you up on the screen here. So for a lot of you guys that you know I've had questions about what time of the year is it best to start a no-dig garden, and people are kind of, they don't really have, it's not that they don't have the willpower, they do want to do it, but they find that it's too much work up front, or that it's, they think that you have to do the whole acre. If you're going to do it, you might as well do the whole acre in one go. It's not true. You can start small, and we've started small too. Look at this back garden in a housing estate. Now, I grew out of that very quickly because I took an allotment in Athlone, actually, for those of you living in the Midlands of Ireland. And this little back garden here was all I had in a rented house and in a housing estate. And I made a start growing my own vegetables and other plants too. And look at this. This was the allotment, and I started very small a long time ago. I was about 15 years ago. But I also was gardening before that as well, especially with my stepmother. She's from Kazakhstan, and she taught me a thing or two about gardening. But look at this. This is basically how Gardens for Life started. When you look at that, I just want to encourage you. You can do it. You don't have to do the. Well, we were still digging at the time, but you know, no dig is so much easier. I wish we had known about it at the time, because we certainly wouldn't have been. Like, we would have removed the lawn, which we did, and we asked the landlord first, for those of you wondering, but we also said that we're going to put it back when we move out, which we did. And if I had known about no dig, it would have been so much easier, which we do now. So we just smother the weeds instead of and look at that, we started with this little greenhouse as well. So take a look at this, and now we have this. So you might think a lot of people are overwhelmed, to be honest, and I just tell them, start with one load of compost and let it rest for a couple of months. That's our garden now. And just take it one compost pile at a time. You see this compost pile here? That's the compost pile here. We've now made new gardens right here with it. So in the beginning, I actually started with this part here. This is the wood chip island. If you want to see how it was made, there is plenty of videos and tours of it and how it was made. And basically, each of these gardens here that you see on the screen has been made one after the other, a few months apart. So just basically expand your garden slowly but surely. Just put down tarp, and then wherever you're planning on having the garden, or wherever you're planning on expanding the garden next year, don't think of it in terms of, next year I'll do a bit of gardening. The best time to start a no-dig garden is really now, basically, like 12 months of the year. It doesn't really matter when you start a no-dig garden, because you'll have it forever. Literally, it's a garden for life. That's why we actually call ourselves that. And the garden will still be there next year, and the year after that. The fertility doesn't go away. When you buy a load of compost for 200 or 300 euro for a big trailer load of compost or a truckload, that fertility is not going to go away unless it gets washed away. But it's your job as a gardener to make sure you have a catch crop, something that will actually catch all that fertility. In our garden here, we basically just smother the weeds or the existing vegetation and just cover the ground either with cardboard or with plastic, and we take the plastic off once the weeds are smothered, and we put down our compost on top of it, probably about 5 inches or 12 centimeters worth. And then the results are astonishing. I mean, even the acorns, how they're able to grow that big and that deep into the ground, because the compost layer is only about 10 to 12 centimeters, and the acorn crown could be like about that deep. So, it does grow way beyond the compost layer, like a lot of the vegetables do. But I find that the worms actually are digging. They're coming up from underneath, from under the compost, and they're eating up that compost, and they're actually mixing the compost layer with the native soil layer. So it's a brilliant way to do it, and it just, over time, your garden will become better and better and better as you're adding more compost from the top. You never have to dig. You could use a broad fork, and if you don't know what that is, it's basically just kind of like a hay fork but bigger, and it's just to aerate the soil a little bit. And in market gardens, they often use them as well. But you can just put down your compost layer. You don't have to aerate anything. People often ask us, what's your soil like? I have no idea. I haven't bothered digging it. I just add on top, keep adding on top, because of course, where does manure actually land in nature? Always on top of the soil. So you don't have to mix it in. It's all a myth. Just the wood chips, make sure they don't get mixed with the compost layer too much. I'm only putting wood chips on the paths in the first year, and after that, then might do a second year, and then in the third year, I might add wood chips all over the garden beds as well, just to keep the weeds down. And at that point, the garden would have turned from a no-dig garden into a lasagna garden, or a forest garden, because when you're putting down a layer of wood chips, you are mimicking the forest floor, because your leaves, all your carbonous material, all your branches that break off the trees, they all land on the ground, and they all get eaten up by all of the mycelia, or the mushrooms, the fungi, and they basically get returned back into the cycle of the soil life. So that's it. Now, have you guys any questions at all? Let me see here. Overwintering tomato plants, no, I don't have the facilities. The problem is to overwinter a pepper plant or tomato plant would be quite difficult with a tomato plant anyway, but you could probably do it with a pepper plant if you keep it on a windowsill in the house. The problem is, again, most of our windows are usually full. Now, this windowsill over here, you can see there is a little bit of space, and we might yet put a plant or two there. But in general, I found it's really hard to keep them from molding in the winter. Where we are anyway, in the Midlands of Ireland, the pepper plants and the tomatoes both, they usually start going moldy in the greenhouse, even if it's a really dry greenhouse in December. And I can't really do much about it other than bring them into the house earlier. And again, how many windowsills have you got? That's the question. So all right, you guys, do you want to, if you want to enter the giveaway, we'll have the giveaway now. Just type the word enter into the chat, if you want to enter the giveaway. And please give us a thumbs up. I'd highly appreciate that on whatever platform you're watching this. It'll help us a little bit to get this information out to more people. So I'll just hang on for people to enter the giveaway. I'm sure there's always a little bit of a delay. So if you missed that, type the word enter in all capital letters into the chat to enter the giveaway. It's free, and you can win a €50 voucher for our online shop, which is here. I'll just put the shop into the chat as well. Give me a second there now, because that way you can click on it. So if you want to have a look at what we have, enter the giveaway. Last chance to enter the giveaway for a €50 voucher for our online shop. Just add the word enter in all capital letters on the chat. And we'll use our random flux capacitor website here to actually choose a winner, a winning comment actually, and it will display it on the screen. I hope you don't mind your name being shown. Most of you won't, because of course you're on a public chat here, and you know. No. And the winner is David Walsh. Congratulations. Please send me an email to contact@gardensforlife.ie, either now or straight after the show. We won't drag on too long today now. Congratulations, David Walsh. You have won a €50 voucher for our online shop. For those of you who didn't, hard luck, but you can try again next week. On Thursday, we'll have another giveaway. And if you guys want to have a look at what we have available on our website in the meantime, it's just gardensforlife.ie/shop. I just want to say it in audio because some of you guys are only listening to the audio version of this. We also make these available actually for download on our members page. So you can download all of these questions and answer sessions on our members page as well. To become a member, it's actually €5 a month or €50 a year, and you get loads of advantages such as a big discount on everything we do, and you can support the content that we produce, and you get a free gift with every order, and you get access to the No Dig online course for free, completely free of charge. That course costs, to the value of €69. And even if you only join for a €5, I don't mind if you do. You would be helping us out a lot, and you can have a look at the online course for free. And if you have any trouble accessing the course, please let us know. Just send us an email to contact@gardensforlife.ie, and we'll fix that for you. If you are already a member and you want to get access to the online course and it's not working for you, send me an email. I'll fix that for you. So thank you guys for joining today. It was always a good time, or it's been a good time as always. And thank you guys for asking questions and leaving a few comments. We always like to get a bit of feedback from our audience. Please do subscribe to our email list. It's just gardensforlife.ie/subscribe if you want to stay in touch, and if you don't mind receiving 2 or 3 emails from us a week on whatever is going on or what newest things are happening, or anytime there's new content out or some kind of a special offer going on. We try not to bother you too much. We also have recommended products and books as well, and you can support us also a little bit by buying through our links there. So take a look at our products page if you want to find out what kind of books we like to read. And there is a ton of really good books like Mark Shepard's Restoration Agriculture, Toby Hemingway's Backyard Permaculture. You have Sepp Holzer with his Desert or Paradise book. Unbelievable achievements these guys have made. And there is so many people. There is also, let me just get this other thing for you for a second. There's a list of people that actually inspired us, and I definitely want to show it to you guys because there's actually I'll actually talk about this probably next week a little bit more. So if you go into our website and type the word inspire or inspired, you'll get a list. Hang on, I'm going to show you guys my screen now. There you go. Take a look at this. So there's a list of people that inspired us. And again, if you want to access that list, it's available on our website. Just go to gardenforlife.ie and then go into the search and type in inspired. And look at this. There's all of these people's names. Like there's an unbelievable wealth of knowledge, and our place, our gardens, our homestead, our lives, our business, our lifestyle business. Actually, we have 2 lifestyle businesses, and we basically took all the best bits from all of these people that really inspired us from around the world, and made it what we did, and we want to share that with you guys, and we want to recommend all of these people to you. And by the way, tomorrow is also the launch of my wife Bianca's album, and it's if you're coming to the Roscommon Culture Festival, please feel free to come along to her album launch, which is at the library in Roscommon Town from 6 to 8 p.m. tomorrow. Just want to throw that in there. Maybe I should have said that earlier, but I see a good few of you guys actually are still listening at the moment. I know it's not gardening related, but nevertheless, it's a wonderful thing. There she is now, and the album is really nice. And she'll play some of the songs or all of the songs actually in person as well. And there's even a music video already available. It's biancavoucher.com if you guys want to have a look. Again, thank you guys for joining, and we will see you next time, next Thursday. If you have any questions in the meantime, just send me an email. Oh, sorry, I still have this thing up here. Send me an email to contact@gardensforlife.ie if you have any questions that you'd like me to answer, either in private or as in via email or for the chat. I'd like to try and keep the questions public because I keep getting asked the same questions over and over. And that's why it's probably best that I, run these live sessions and actually utilize them to answer common questions, especially because that way, hopefully, it stays entertaining enough for you guys to bear watching me for an hour. And we are working on the background. I know I've been recommended. Why don't you? Last time we had just a white wall, which was the wall behind this wardrobe. And now it's the wardrobe itself. Finally, we've got it and we've put it together. So our renovations in the house are going well. And someday I'll be back in the studio as well. We'll see. Or we may even build an office of our own for the garden as well. But for now, that's not necessary. What matters is keep the garden productive and keep it pumping out plants, food, medicine, all the rest, and especially education material. And always encourage others, encourage your neighbors to do gardening too. We like to give them eggs, and then they actually got chickens. Two of our neighbors got chickens because maybe hopefully because we were giving them some eggs every once in a while, or whenever they help us out with something, we just give them a few eggs, and they probably like them so much that they got their chickens of their own. So definitely, if you are growing something like something that people eat, like I guess cabbage is a common thing people eat, especially in the countryside, you could say, but kale is so much better, but it's not a common vegetable that people eat now these days. But salad greens and that kind of thing, or even a pumpkin is like a nice little unit that you can just give to a neighbor. So that's what we're going to do this Halloween. Before Halloween, we're going to be just leaving a pumpkin on every house, just at their entrance here on our little lane. We all know each other here. It's a wonderful community. Anyway, I will see you guys again. Bye. See you next Thursday. I will be putting out a couple of videos until then. Bye.